Hey guys, today we're going to talk more about exponents, okay? Basically more difficult questions, but let's again review the rules of exponents. So we talked about if I have a to the m times a to the n, same base, we do a to the m plus n. If we have a to the m divided by a to the n, we get a to the m minus, oops, sorry, wrong spot, minus n. And then we have a to the m raised to the nth power, that is going to be a to the m times n. And then we also have, if we have a to the, a times b raised to the nth power, that's going to be a to the nth times b to the nth. And then we have a divided by b to the nth power, that would be a to the nth power divided by b to the nth power. And we talked about how a to the 0 is equal to 1. Anything raised to the 0 power is 1. And then we also talked about if we have a to the negative n, that's equal to 1 over a to the positive n. Similarly, if we had a divided by b raised to the negative nth power, it will be b divided by a raised to the positive nth power. Okay? So those are our rules. Let me put some separation here. There we go. All right. So let's now talk about some examples. Sometimes I don't know what I'm writing. It's not because of my brain. All right, so let's start with first example. So essentially, the last set of notes and this set of notes is really, still applying these rules here. All right, so everything we've done so far is applying these rules. All right, and it's no different today. So let's say for this first example, it is 4a to the third, bc to the negative fifth, all raised to the negative third power. Okay, so what am I going to do? Now, this looks like a difficult problem, but it really isn't. So we're going to do basically 3 steps. Okay, step 1, we're going to distribute the power. Step 2, we're going to move them based on their negative attitudes or negative powers. And then 3, we're going to simplify them and then finish it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is put distribute the power. So first, before I do that, let me make this red so that you guys can see where the red came from. Okay. All right. So again, numbers and variables are separated. This right here is not 4a cubed. This right here is 4 times a cubed. Okay. 2 separate things. Okay, so 4 is separate from a cubed, separate from b, separate from c to the negative fifth. All right, all separate things. So each of those will be raised to the negative 3 power. All right, so what do I have here? I have 4 raised to the negative 3 power times a to the third raised to the negative 3 power. And remember in the beginning we talked about how in the video it says that you guys should be organized. Here is where the organization comes into play. Because some of you guys don't like to write all this work down and rather just kind of jump, and jump. Now, don't get me wrong. By the end of this section, you probably would be able to. But I think that if you can just practice them more so that you're comfortable with it, I'm cool with it. So it's not the quality of the work that matters. It's, are you basically telling me by work if you actually know the material or not, right? And I like to show the work because I'm a math guy, all right? So then this b raised to the negative 3, and then c to the negative fifth raised to the negative, raised to the negative 3. All right? So notice that every single thing is raised to the negative third power. All right? Okay, so with that being said, so what do I get? So now I have here 4 to the negative third. That stays. A to the negative ninth, because I got to multiply the power. B to the negative third. And C to the positive 15th, because I have to multiply the power. Because when I raise the power to a power, I got to multiply them. Okay? So that's step 2. I mean, actually, that's still step 1. Step 2 was to move them, right? So now I have a fraction. Okay, let me see here. You know what? Let's do this really quick. Let me take, okay, I actually took it. No, because I kind of want you guys to see all of this. But I should do it this way. Of course it would. Why wouldn't it do that? There we go. That works better. Okay, so now we're going to move them. Okay, so when I move them, I'm going to move it this way. So if I look at the 4 has a negative power, so I'm going to put 4 to the third. They're going to move it down to the bottom. A to the negative ninth clearly doesn't like being on top, so I'm going to put A to the ninth on the bottom. B to the negative third doesn't like being on top, so bring it down to the bottom. C to the 15th likes being on top, so we'll leave C to the 15th on top. And there is my answer right there. Okay, so all I gotta do is boom, and boom, and boom, and boom, and boom, and boom. But boom. There we go. And there is my answer right there. Okay, so again, and oh shoot, that is not my answer, sorry. That is not my answer. Let's finalize the answer here. I know it seems like so much work, but it's okay. All right, so what is actually my answer? My actual answer is going to be C to the 15th, and the reason why it's not done yet is because of the 4 to the third, okay? And 4 to the third, you can put in your calculator as 4 caret 3, or do 4 times 4 times 4, which is 64. A to the ninth and B to the third. Now that's my answer. There we go. Much better. All right. So that's the simplified part. So that's how I would do these problems. So let's try another one. Now you're welcome to write these problems down, pause the video, do it, and then see if you did it right. That's a nice part of these live lectures, right? All right, we're going to start off with a fraction here, okay? We're going to have parentheses. We're going to have x to the third, y to the negative 5, over z to the negative 4, all raised to the negative ninth power. So again, let's follow the rules, right? So we're going to do, everyone's going to get the power. So we're going to have x to the third raised to the negative ninth power times y to the negative 5 raised to the negative ninth power over z to the negative 4 raised to the negative ninth power. Okay? All right, so then we say, okay, what does that equal to? Okay, so the first one is going to be x to the negative 27 times y to the positive 45 over z to the positive 36, right? So again, power raised to a power, we have to multiply them, all right? So now we move them. So if I was to do this, I'm just checking my width of my paper here. So if I was to combine this, or simplify or move it, I should say, because that's step 2, clearly to me, the x wants to go to the bottom because it doesn't like being on top. So x to the 27 is here. How about the y? Y likes being on top. How about the 30? How about the z? Z likes being on the bottom. So they're going to just stay. So I have nothing I need to simplify. So therefore, that would be my answer. Not too shabby, all right? So again, 3 simple rules, right? It's number 1, distribute the power. Number 2, move them. And then number 3, simplify, okay? So let me see here. Another one. All right, so we have another fraction here, 5a to the negative third, b to the third, all over, oops, that's fine right there. And it's over 10, a to the third, b to the sixth. Now you're going to ask the question, could I, simplify inside first, right? Can you simplify the inside first and then deal with that? You could. You definitely could. I wouldn't take that away from you. And heck, because there's a negative power, right? Because there's a negative power, could I just flip the fraction? You could do that too. Now, what I find is the 3 steps I'm giving you is the simplest way to do it and the quickest way to do it. And that's the only reason why I do that. If you want to simplify this first, you're welcome to do that, okay, and move them. But because of the negative power, then it's going to flip everything anyways, okay? And then you're going to have to raise it to those powers and then move them. So the 3 steps is the simplest way I know how to bring this together. All right. Now, do you have to show all of this work every single time? No, you don't. You're going to get used to it, and that's okay. All right. So I'll do that with this problem. I'll go through it as if I didn't do all this part of the work. Now, do I think this is something that you should do in the beginning? Absolutely, you should do this in the beginning. And then as you get better at it, you'll start to do this instead of this step here, which is okay. All right. So if I was to do it right here, I would say, okay, I'm going to use red for the numbers. So I got 5 to the negative third. Let me put a fraction sign here. Oops. Wanted that in red, black, I mean. All right, let's use, I'm going to use blue for the A's. So I got A to the positive ninth power because I raised the power to a power, so I multiply those powers. And orange for the B, so this is going to be B to the negative ninth. 3 times negative 3. And then at the bottom, I have 10 to the negative third. I have A to the negative ninth. And I have B to the negative 18. I know sometimes my B looks like a 6. I understand that. So I'll try to do it that way. All right. So no matter what, the first step is still distributing the power. All right. Then I can say, okay, so this is equal to, draw my line for the fraction, and then start moving them. So now typically when I move these, what I tend to do is I just deal with the top first. So I deal with just those 3, all right? So I go 5 to the negative third, move or not move. A, do I move or not move? B, move or not move? Then I deal with the bottom. 10, move or not move? A, move or not move? B, move or not move? Okay? So that's the way I usually do it. So that's what I'm going to do. So 5, yes, it's going to move down to the bottom. 5 cubed. A, is that going to move? No, it's going to stay put. B, yes, it's going to move. B to the 9th. Then I deal with the bottom. Okay? Is the 10 going to move? Yes. 10 to the 3rd. Is A to the negative 9 going to move? Yes. It is going to move to the top. A to the 9th. And then B to the negative 18th? Yes, that is going to move up to the top. Okay? So now here's my moved stuff, right? All right. So what do I have left? So after I move, so let's move these. So here is what I like to do. Let's deal with the variables first. So this is going to be A to the 18th. And I'm going to have a B to the positive 9th left on top because there's 18 B's on top, 9 B's on the bottom. 9 of them cancel out. I will have 9 B's left on top. Okay? Now, with numbers, you could do this as, okay, so 10 cubed is going to be 1,000. And 5 cubed is going to be 125. And then you can start reducing that way if you want to. It's up to you what you want to do, okay? You're welcome to do that on a TI 83 and 84. After you get that decimal, you can always change it back to fraction if you want to. I don't like doing that because really, if you think about it, 10 cubed is that. 5 cubed is this. Okay? Now, if I look at these, you know what, before I do that, so remember that part right there and remember that part right there, okay? I'm going to do it this way. And the only reason I'm doing it this way is to give you more room. That's all it is. So nothing huge. Okay. Okay. So it's 10 times 10 times 10 and 5 times 5 times 5. Okay. So if you look at that, I can look at these as individual boxes. Okay, and you notice what happens. What actually happens? Look at this, guys. I'm trying to pick a color here. Let's go with the purple since the purple is not here. Okay, 10 goes into, 5 goes into both, right? Or you think about it's 10 divided by 5, you have a 2 left, right? Or you can say 5 goes into 5 once and goes into 10 twice, and then same thing here. So therefore, that's already broken down for me. Let me see where I am. Okay, so what I want to do is say, okay, so this is equal to 8, because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. A to the 18th, B to the 9th. And there's only 1 left on the bottom, so I really don't need the denominator at all. So I can just say it's equal to that and box my answer there, and there I go. And there's my answer. Okay, so that's the way I like to deal with that, because 1,000 is a really big number divided by 125, which in this case, obviously it came out very evenly to 8, but sometimes you will get a fraction or decimals with it. So just be careful with that. All right, so there is that one. All right, I hope that this helps. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask.